Okay, look, I know you think this is a little weird that we're sitting here talking and I just left and I was in a completely different outfit. Well, that's future me. I'm past me. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about while they're setting up for this next guest that's coming on, and I'm sure they're going to be dope, but I want to talk to you a little bit about ways to support the channel. You see, there's a lot of work that goes into this channel, and the only way to keep it going, the only way to keep bringing on new people and upgrading the sets and upgrading the intros is by you supporting me. So here's a couple of ways that you can support me, and I'm not sure that a lot of you know this. If you're new to Twitch, you want to look down right here. There's a little subscribe button. That's the easiest way to support me. It's like $5. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. If we're at the bar, you're buying me a beer. If you're feeling a little more generous, maybe you want to gift somebody a free sub. If you are a Prime member, you can use your Prime membership. You get one per month. You can use that on me. It doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you're sitting there on the YouTube side, you can also hit that membership button right there, or you can give me a super chat and then send me off a tip. Look, I know that times are tough, money's tough, and I know that what I'm asking for some of you people might be a little too difficult. So there are other ways that you can help the channel. You can host the stream, share the stream. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, share the stream to everybody. Get the word out. That's the easiest way to help me out, and that doesn't cost you a dime. Those are just a couple of ways that you can do this. I think they're coming back, so I need to get out of here. Just remember what I said. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Tell them run it off.
What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it off.
There we go. Sometimes this thing can be real stupid. And let me change this one. Okay, there we go. Okay. Crappy morning. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for hanging out today. We are dealing with some technical issues on a couple of things that I didn't really anticipate there to be technical issues. So I'm still, of course, not able to hear. It's one of those dumbass days. One of those dumbass days. So we'll get through it. We'll get through it. We'll make it work. Let's make sure the audio is going where it's supposed to be going. Good. Okay. So let me make some movements here. Since the audio does not want to go where it's supposed to. 2. Okay. Let's try that way. Okay, so I seem louder than I need to be. So I guess one of the issues is for whatever reason, also focus the camera a little bit if you want. It's on a manual, so we're gonna deal with that. I'm looking at myself. It doesn't look out of focus. I mean, we could move it a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to go all the way around until I bring on my guy. So you'll just have to deal with me being a little bit out of focus. Which is actually kind of ironic because that's kind of what this morning has been like. It's been me being a little out of focus. So enjoy all that is me. I got no music right now because for whatever reason, things don't want to work as according to plan. So we're going to go ahead and... Hold on. No, I'm not sure. Let's make sure that it... There they are. For whatever reason, none of my tech is working today. So, hold on. Let me get this on real quick. Okay. That's a little better. So, yeah, it's all right. Soft focus, we just deal with it. I have to eyeball things when I'm looking at things, unfortunately. So I don't have like a stand-in that can just sit here and, just kind of get everything going. Like I don't have that. And then couple it with the fact that I'm like trying to figure out why nothing is working. Like nothing was working today. I mean, it got down to the fact where, okay, everybody knows that on Mondays it's a little bit hectic because on Mondays I take everything with me. I'm not on Mondays, but on Saturdays I have events, so I might take my camera with me, which was absolutely stupid. Put this on autoplay. Which was absolutely stupid. So I take my camera. I'm going to stream. So I'm going to stream the event, take my camera, take my actual dummy battery this time because I forgot it last time and I was swapping out batteries left and right. Take that. I got my phone. I got my phone stand so I can film the crowd and one filming me. Like I got everything good, right? So I get there, start streaming. Everything's fine. Like 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, people are like, is everything freezing on you? So I take a look, and sure enough, the internet connection that I had, because I was up in the hills, so I had to take the house internet, sucked, just dropped. It was giving me like 7-up. I was like, okay, I can deal with 7-up. I'm 720. I'm not really doing too much. And then all of a sudden, it was like 0, 140 kilobits. Not megs. So I just kind of lost my mind there. So I pulled that. So I was like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. I'll just record my vlog so I can edit that. Go to hit the record button. No SD card. I didn't put an SD card in because I was using my SD card to edit a video. So no vlog, no streaming, and I brought all this stuff as always, and you know, it just sucks. So I brought all this stuff. We had video montage, and because I don't have an office anymore, everything is stuck in storage. So I basically took everything that was in storage, and let me invite XMG. Totally forgot about that with all the drama. Everything that is in my storage is I took only what I needed. So I had all my cords here, but we're streaming. I'm borrowing things left and right from all kinds of places, right? I'm like, I need a looks like we got a hype train started. Let's go. I need an HDMI cord. I'll just go in the little projector bag and grab a cord. Whoa, DJI Flaves with the 5-piece representing. Let's go. So I took the cord. Anyway, video went fine. Came home, start setting everything up. Guess what? For whatever reason, my computer would not output my HDMI connection. Just disappeared. Just gone. So I had to struggle with that part, and it's just been one of those days. But I'm not complaining too much. I don't want it to feel like I'm not, happy that I woke up this morning and I'm alive, and we got a good show, even with the soft focus. Which we will fix. T Diesel, thank you for the sub. J Styles for the bits. I saw Prion Joni in the chat. What's going on, man? Make sure you guys are following Prion. Make sure you're following PJ. That's the man right there. He is all things. He's been doing some really, really cool things with his scratching courses. So I've been really, really happy with those. And the fact that the man's got serious pioneer gear. So, speaking of gear, so I got the email from Rain asking about the Rain 1. Hey, when are you gonna send it back? You gonna send it back soon? So I did get that email. Which I have not even thought about yet. I said to them, I'm still working on some stuff. I still have it. And they're like, okay, whatever. Take your time. But still on their radar. I don't think I'd be on their radar if it wasn't such a high demand product. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, so I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitch. Is YouTube working or not working? Let's take a look here. Make sure YouTube is doing what it's supposed to be doing. See that I'm on. Okay, it does say that I'm live. Okay, so we're good. All right. If you're on the YouTube side, sound off. Sound off in the chat if you're on the YouTube side. Let me know that you're here. Let me know. Or I can just cut off YouTube. Apparently it's not important since everybody's representing Twitch. Derek Wood says the men. So we'll do a little bit of a room check while we get situated here. I do see XMG in the green room here. We got Derek Woods in the house, T Diesel moderator extraordinaire, Mixmaster GNL in the house. I gotta make sure there's some people that I need to VIP. I gotta get better at that kind of stuff. So let's see if we can do that kind of stuff right now. If I can type correctly. Okay. There you go. DJ Lou Diamond's in the house. Nephew Washington Philip Tan. Good to see you. And by the way, Philip, is it Tan or Tan? I don't want to offend anybody. Let me know in the chat. And let's make pre. we need to make him, if I can spell his name correctly. Well, that sucks because I did it wrong. Now you guys get to see my failures. I try to hide all my failures from you guys. All right. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like we are at level 3 hype train. 1 minute, 15 seconds to go. Can we get up to level 4? Can we get up to level 4? Let's try to get that done while we are doing this room check. Real DJ Yoshi in the house. Good to see you, fam. Good to see you. Montero Rory. I'm going to try to not butcher that. iFlaves in the house, of course. Unreal DJing. Good to see you. Good to see you. That is, of course, XMG right there. Who else we got in the house? Mike Feliciano. Popping on the YouTube side. F105 Darwin. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see who else we got in here. DJ Nene. Okay. All right. All right. So let's felt like there was something I needed to say before, but I also feel like Baton. See, I felt that was accurate. SBC Rick Lee to go. Now, see, you guys got me all up in my feelings because now I'm thinking about this camera. So we're gonna do a quick mod real quick. Quick mod. Sit tight for the quick mod. Okay. Yeah, the time was out. Yeah, guys, I can see everything, right? I know what's going on. It's just I'm dealing with a 1.8 lens here, and they get a little tricky sometimes, especially when you have to eyeball it, because basically I need to use the mic as my reference, because the mic is obviously where my face is. But sometimes it doesn't go according to plan. You know, I'm not rocking those crazy Sonys with the perfect autofocus. Sorry, it's not in the budget right now to replace all of my lenses. Okay. So now I'm going off of just orange juice today. And by the way, this cup, just so you know, this is a Hogwarts cup. I guess my daughter got it. She's a Hogwarts fan. Now, she's 9, but all of a sudden loves Harry Potter. So, you know, it happens. Loves Harry Potter. Loves Scarlet Witch. Loves Wanda. So, I just wanted to put some orange juice in a cup. So I poured the orange juice in a cup. Mind you, the cup is yellow. And I poured some orange juice in a cup, and I'm like, I don't know if this orange juice is bad or not. So I pour it in, and I set it to the side. And I look over again, and when it was like super cold, half the cup was red. It scared the hell out of me. Until I realized that it was a Hogwarts cup. And of course, magic. Oh, man. Okay, so we got XMG in the chat. We got XMG waiting to pop on. This is a very special occasion because I know that once I posted the video, I know a lot of people had opinions, either positive or negative, and they had questions. And, you know, I felt like what better to do is to bring on XMG specifically. And then that way we can talk about it. So you guys know the drill. If you have any questions, you got to throw the ask in the chat once we bring them on. Start talking about gear. Start talking about kind of the history of it, and then we will get you guys on. Simple as that. As you can see when you're not looking at my stream deck, That was weird. This is the XMG right here. Works just fine. And I'm in the process, and this is all honesty, I'm in the process of consolidating both computers, my MacBook and my XMG, because what I want is the ability to basically be able to open up either computer and use them as if I was using them 10 minutes ago. That sounded weird. Basically, I want to basically make them clones, so to speak. Because every so often I'm on my Mac and something will pop up and I'll download it real quick and I'll put it in, not thinking about anything. And then I'll open up the other computer, which is like, my work computer versus my other work computer, and things aren't there. So I am in the process of literally consolidating all my files, doing the Crate Hackers thing, trying to get that to a real clean, get rid of all the files that I don't need. I learned this weekend how many extra files that I had, which was real dumb. So that's my process for the next probably 3 or 4 months. But we are going to bring on Ray, aka, I don't even want to pronounce his IG name. I think it's Arkai. I think I got it right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put the emotes in the chat. Put the wake up emotes in the chat if you got them. And let's bring them on. I need to see those wake up emotes. Because for me, it really is waking up. I'm on a new kick, by the way. I plan on getting up now at like 8 o'clock. I know for some people that's like a big deal. That's not really a big deal. But for me, 8 o'clock is a real big deal. It's time to get my mind right. Because my kid decided that she wants to go to school. Not do distance learning, but actually go to class. She didn't have to, but that's what she wanted. So now I got to get up. You know what's funny about distance learning now? Have you seen the new thing that's been popping up? You see the new thing that's been popping up? Now there's no more snow days. The moment I saw distance learning, I said, snow days are gone. Natural disasters are gone. PJ, no, I actually typically wake up at about 7:30 when everybody else, like my wife, gets up for my kid. And I wake up then, but I just kind of stay in bed and just kind of hang out. But it used to be I was waking up much later. So we need to get back to that. It's time. Okay, let's bring on Ray, ladies and gentlemen. He is, I guess I would call him like one of the founders of XMG. We'll talk about the offshoot of Shanker Technologies and all that is. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the man behind XMG. I'm just going to say Ray. All right.
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going, man? So
weird. I can hear myself.
You hear an echo? Oh, I know what that is. Hold on.
Yeah. But don't worry. I'll work around that somehow. Hi, everybody.
Let me flip that.
Let me just keep you guys entertained with some pixel stuff.
Okay. Now can you hear yourself? Is it gone?
Yes, it is gone. Perfect.
Okay. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to say this right off the bat. I mean, let's talk a little bit about what you got going on here. There's a lot happening here. So what is all of this?
This is basically my streaming setup. It's also where I spend most of my day working, but it's I stream myself. I'm nowhere near your level of recognition because I basically just do it for fun. But yeah, you've had Professor BX on the show, so I'm kind of like him, but for computers.
Okay, I get that.
So I experiment with visuals all day long, and I do stuff like, hey, can I make phase work with video and stuff like that? So that's kind of the stuff that I do in my spare time for fun.
I'm bringing you full screen just so people can see
So
the
people can see my
level
cat.
here. Oh, that's hilarious.
No, hold on. The level, I can show you the level. Check this
Yeah,
out.
let's see it.
I'm just going to wave to everybody in the chat. What's up?
Now, what are you using? Are you using Resolume?
This is Resolume, yeah.
Okay, now is this is a full Resolume, like all?
Yeah, this is Resolume Arena. Yeah, you can do the same stuff with Avenue, but because I do these things at events, I use Arena because there you get the whole projection mapping options and stuff.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna ask probably a question that's all through this place right now. What are you using to stream with?
Well,
Computer-wise?
I use XMG laptops for streaming actually. The
Okay.
slightly more powerful ones, the DJ15 isn't quite as powerful enough for that. But I've been lurking and watching you, so you kind of announced me as one of the founders of XMG. I'm nowhere near that. So just for a quick background, I've been an XMG customer for years before actually approaching the company and saying, hey, I've been buying your gaming computers for a while and turning them into my audio VJ computers. Can we make a product together? And that's kind of how it happened. So I'm nowhere near the founders. I'm just a guy who joined the team years down the line. They've been on the market forever. So
Now, right, okay. So I'll remove the founder aspects of it, but if it weren't for you, there would be no XMG DJ15.
that's true. Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of my brainchild.
Gotcha. Okay, well that's okay though. I mean, you in my mind, you are the founder of the XMG DJ15. So so you're the founder to me. But I get what you're saying though. Now
I just don't want to take credit for things that I didn't do.
of course not. I completely understand. Now, XMG is an offshoot of Schenker Technologies, correct?
It's Schenker Technologies is the parent company, and they have two brands. There's Schenker and there's XMG. Schenker is typically mostly office and business stuff, and XMG is mostly gaming. So when creating these, we kind of went with the gaming brand because the communication of a business brand is different than that of a gaming brand. I can be closer to myself when I'm not in business mode. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay. So obviously, you have been sending out these laptops to, I hate the word influencers, but tech DJs, for them to demo, for them to check out. Right off the bat, I want to point out to everybody, there is no payment set up here. So the gear is sent out to be reviewed, and then if after the fact, you want to negotiate whatever, that's fine. But it's just only sent out as a review unit. So
yes, I just use because I've seen the comments. You guys have seen me lurking under the review video. Probably every other video you might have watched. Like PJ did one, Mojex did one, Crossfader, James from Crossfader did one. I'm always in the comments, and there's always somebody because pretty much every reviewer has been saying nice things about this computer. People are like, "Oh, this has been a payoff. You sell out," and all these things. We would never do that. So just to clarify, I've been a reviewer myself. I've been part of DJ Works. I see Mark in the chat. Hi, Mark. And I just respect the craft. I would never approach somebody like you, Cherry, and just say, "Hey, I'm going to give you $2,000 to say nice things about this product." No way. So I approach these people specifically because they're opinionated. They're going to tell you what's what. They're not going to beat around the bush and say nice things. Like you said, the speakers in this aren't quite good. True. No sugarcoating, man. It's just like it's what it is, and that's why I kind of So there are no payments going anywhere. And sure, of course, any tech DJ review person, any online personality is automatically sort of an influencer.
Sure.
But there are other people I could have sent this machine to, and I didn't. And there are reasons for that. Because, I prefer the straight shooters, because it's not like I can do this and just send out 50 machines. That's not possible. So I picked the right people.
I think so. So I guess one of the questions that I know people have is, okay, let's knock out the number one question. I see Isotonic Studios in the house. What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, Darren.
The number one question I think people are going to say is, or statement, this is just like any other PC. Why should I get this computer over any other computer? Because it's just like any other PC. Specs are the same. I can get better specs for $300 at the Best Buy. So, explain to the world the difference.
Oh wow! How much time you got?
They're here
No,
for
okay.
you.
So basically, here's how this works. When you get an off-the-shelf laptop, it may have better specs on paper, but you will often notice stuff like it has a 1 terabyte SSD. But what SSD is it? What RAM is inside? In some cases, what i7 is in it specifically? And one of the things that I've been kind of droning on about in our own product videos is DPC latency. And most people have no idea what that is. That was kind of my mistake to just go all techie with it.
Mm-hmm.
But DPC latency is super important for audio stuff. And here's how that works. When your operating system wants information from a component, that can be anything, can be your touchpad, can be your Wi-Fi chip, whatever, it sends out something called an ISR, interrupt service request. That's basically the operating system talking to that component. Like, hey, give me information now. And if that component has like a bad driver, or it doesn't play nice with the other components in your computer, what happens then is that the operating system follows with something called a DPC. It's called Deferred Procedure Call. What that means is basically that the system goes like, hey, I asked you for information. Where's the information? Everybody else, stop what you're doing. I need this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the time that it takes for that component to respond is the DPC latency. Now, obviously, when you're DJing and you have your low latency drivers for your hardware going, you have a small buffer size that's going to equate to a couple of milliseconds. Now, if the DPC latency, like the time that the system is basically on hold, waiting for that one component to respond, if that kind of goes over the buffer, then you have a problem. And that's the glitches that you hear. It's in 99% of the cases, that's the cause. And when you're a normal user, like somebody who would, for example, I don't know, watch Netflix or go on social media or whatever, you're never going to notice that because these are just a couple of milliseconds. But when you're making anything that's related to audio, then it's super important. And you can't really blame the big manufacturers for not optimizing for that because we are not their audience. Mm-hmm. So nobody really cares about these things. And sure, before using XMG, I used other brands, and sometimes you tend to get lucky. If you buy a slightly higher end PC, there's a good chance that the components are going to be fine.
Right.
But you still have to know what you're doing with Windows. You have to be familiar with Windows to kind of maybe turn off the problematic things. And nobody really does that because, again, our market is a niche market. Believe it or not. I mean, if you're in a filter bubble, and all your friends are DJs, and everybody you know is like, oh, this is a DJ, that is a DJ. Of course, you're going to be like, everybody I know is a DJ. It's a big deal, but it's really not. So that's why the big brands don't really care, and that's why ultimately also Apple really doesn't care. If every DJ in the world stopped using Apple, they'd be like, what was that noise?
Right.
That's basically what would happen. So. It's really important for people to realize that. And as a boutique manufacturer, we have the opportunity to just focus specifically on this one thing. And that's what we did.
Also, so what would be the reasoning? Because I know you're doing quad cores. I know I saw in the chat a lot of people saying, why don't you put the AMD chips in? Why isn't that, the future, since they are so good at battery power? And I don't know. I have an AMD in my streaming computer, the 6 series, I believe is what it is, or 600, and it's great. But I don't know anything about battery consumption or anything like that for the mobiles.
Well, here's the thing. AMD in recent years, they've gone through the roof. Their chips are amazing, especially their desktop chips are really, really good, but it's not like they have an established track record with audio yet. So, oh, what's that? What was that?
I'm not hearing anything on this end.
This is strange. Did I? Hello.
Hey, we're still here.
Am I back? Am I back?
You never left.
Oh, that's amazing. Don't know what happened there, but it's not exactly a great demo of PCs in action.
Well, you
just
are
gonna hide myself
literally in the Mortal Kombat realm of fighting. So hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, Apple heard. I see chat going like Apple hacked me. Yeah, they noticed what I was doing, and then they went like, yeah, no, whatever that was. Where were we?
So we were talking about AMD.
Oh yeah, so AMD doesn't really have an established track record with audio. So for that reason, we're of course, we're evaluating AMD, and I can tell you right now, without even leaking anything, that AMD is going to happen, but not necessarily on mobile, because when you're DJing, like the CPU in the DJ15 is actually an ultra low voltage mobile CPU. Okay. It doesn't have to be stronger, because what is your DJ software? It's effectively like a 4-track sampler with effects and timecode control. It's not really demanding. So we pick a low voltage CPU to kind of maximize battery life, and that's it. It will. You've tested it yourself. It will pretty much pull anything you can throw at it in terms of DJing. But AMD is very much on the table. But I personally think that if we go for AMD, it will be more in the higher end area of things. And for laptops, I think for now it's going to be Intel, but we're not excluding AMD at all. Like we're actually talking about this all the time. So
Mike Feliciano says AMD no longer supported by Serato DJ.
I have no idea about that. So here's a funny thing. I'm pretty much on every beta in the universe. I'm on the beta of Resolume, Tractor, Virtual DJ, Rekordbox, everything, Ableton, Bitwig. Everything that exists, I have a beta version of, except Serato. I don't know why they don't like me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll work that out. I think I'm just not talking to the right people. So I'm not. Let's not dump on Serato.
No. I can contact my guy.
Good.
And see what he can do, because I think it's important.
That would be. Absolutely. I mean, all I can do with Serato is download the same version that you have and then test it and see that it works.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I would very much like to stay ahead of the game. Like with most things, I know what's coming a few months down the line, and I've already tested it, even though I will never be able to talk about it. Just like probably it's the same case for you. You know things.
I know a couple of things.
Yeah.
Not all things. So Mark said, I don't know if you read that, I stopped DJ Works before we could review it. I'd have destroyed Ray, even though he's part of the DJ Works family.
Yeah, that's most welcome. I mean, you should see. There's a certain review ethic that I learned at DJ Works. So you pull no punches. When somebody messed up, you tell them. Because I don't care for people who tell me that you've done well and this is great. Tell me what sucks, because then I can take that feedback and then I can go to the team and say, look, guys, we need to look at these things. And I might actually have something for you guys later today. So whoever's in the stream should definitely stay tuned in.
Okay. You hear that? Stick around, people.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know about a lot of people out there, but when I look at products that I'm interested in, like I tell people, I look at the overall. And if the overall says, okay, it's a good product. Okay, great. That's my baseline. Now tell me all the things that are bad about it, and let me see if I can live with the bad things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how I work. I've kind of turned into that guy when you're watching movies now. Like I'm a Netflix guy now. I'm not a Netflix guy. We're all streaming people, but it used to be I had a much higher threshold for what I would watch. Like, okay, 7. Okay, I'll watch a 7. Maybe I'll pull a 6.5 if I'm, if it's a dumb action flick. But now, my whole entire thing has dropped down. Now I'm like, 7's like amazing. But I'm looking at 5.8. It's like, well, maybe this might work a 5.8. We're just in a different world now. Movies just aren't as good. There goes my alarm again.
And DJ T Diesel says in chat, everybody check under your seats. We all got a new XMG. Guys, I'm not Oprah. I wish, but
So obvious, an obvious question that has popped up is, do you guys ship outside of Europe?
yes, we do. We've recently started doing that because this is one of the things that we've got feedback on. It's like people have been coming at us. It's like they see you reviewing it, they see PJ reviewing it, and they go, yeah, this is all nice and all, but I can't get it though. I'm in the US. So here's why it took so long. So the US alone, the number of states in the US that all have their unique tax rates and stuff, and then different shipping costs, we need to figure these things out. So right now, we're shipping to business customers exclusively. For now, we're working on making it possible for everybody, but it's not something that we can just, snap our fingers and make happen, unfortunately. But yeah, we are shipping to the US now. So
Okay.
yeah, just drop us a line. The way this works, it's not possible directly through their website, so you have to send us an email to audio@xmg.gg. I've posted this comment under pretty much every video that's out there. But you basically send us an email, and the added benefit is if you send an email to audio@xmg.gg, it's guaranteed to come across my desk as well. So I will see it. So it's not just some random person, but I actually monitor all of these. And then we'll go through your config, make sure that everything, is up to spec for what you need to do. And then we forward you on to the B2B people, and then they take care of the rest. That's how it works.
Gotcha. Is that correct? Audio@xmg.gg. Did I put that right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. We'll leave that up there for a while now.
Awesome. Thank you.
So let's see here. So guys, if you have any questions, just hit the ask. Make sure you put the ask in the chat.
Yes. Hashtag ask Canada too. Absolutely. So actually, I did say US, but it's actually worldwide. There are a few exceptions, but just like a handful. I think we can ship to most places now. So the best way is, again, just to send an email to that address, and we'll just tell you. But and in general, if anybody has any question about what this machine can and can't do, just do it there. But I can answer them right now as well. So just fire away.
Gotcha.
I'm here. Grill me.
So Philip asks, would the XMG DJ laptop be good for music production as well? How would you scale up that tech stack for, say, music studio workstation?
Nah. I'm just going to be straight with you. This is a DJ machine. It's like when we were kind of conceptualizing it, we're going to call it the DJ15, and on every page it says like DJ laptop made by DJs for DJs to DJ with. So, it's like we kind of tried to frame it like this. So the CPU in this is a low voltage one. And that means that it's going to take the load of any DJ software. But if you're producing, say you're in Ableton Live or Bitwig or whatever, Cubase, and you have a stack of like 80 tracks and half of them are heavy plugins like, I don't know, Serum, Faceplant, Falcon, you name it, and then a whole bunch of post-processing plugins after that, that's going to murder the CPU. So this is, like you said in your own video, this is a tool designed for a specific purpose, and that purpose is DJing. But of course, we're aware of that. And again, stick around till later, and I'm going to have a really nice answer for you.
Okay. All right. I think I know where that's going. I'm excited myself. Okay. So DJ T-Jams, we've just talked about how to purchase in the US. You need to email, but let's hold off for a minute. You need to have a business license, not a business license. A S corp, or basically you need to have a tax ID, a business tax ID.
Yes.
Is whatever that means for you, S corp, LLC. You need to have a tax ID because that's how you're going in as a business customer, and then they're sending it back to you. But the email is listed right up on screen as soon as we pull that away. That's the email you want to send it to if you are interested in it. Let them know. And but you need to have a tax ID. Okay. All right. DJ Loco Lopez says, my only hesitation is the graphics card. I DJ a lot using video now with screens, etc. Will there be a version with the better graphics card? Which I assume is probably something we'll talk about a little later. But before we answer that question, let's talk about the current computer and what it's capable of, please.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That was for you, not for me.
Oh, for me. I thought it was for the chat. I mean, so what is it capable of? I mean, you've said it in your review yourself. You can lower the latency pretty much as low as your driver allows. There are some exceptions. It really depends on the manufacturer. Some brands have more efficient drivers. Some brands have less efficient drivers. But always, it's going to be super low. Like, it's going to be lower than any turntablist, high-level turntablist even needs it. Because when this was in prototype stage and back before COVID, when we still had events, I actually had like world champion level turntablist scratch on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's good enough for them, and if they were like, oh yeah, I don't notice anything, then that's kind of my go-to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, as far as somebody using, like I said, I had a little bit of issue with Serato Video.
Yeah.
As far as that, what do you think the boundaries are for video work?
Can I be mean? Use anything but Serato and it's going to be fine. So I tested the files that you mentioned. The Beeple files. The Beeple files that pretty much everyone and their mom has been using in their sets. I've taken those files and I've thrown them into Virtual DJ, Rekordbox, and just for fun, I've thrown all 4 of them into Resolume, and they ran. So it's really not that the machine isn't powerful enough, but if you're going to do super heavy stuff, like let's DJ on 4 decks, use the stems feature in VDJ, and then play video at the same time, that might be the cutoff point. So it really depends on, especially with video, it really depends on how well you maintain your video library. If they are encoded well, if you have the wrong codec, it's just going to mess things up.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I think actually mine died on this one. Yeah, it's this is the one that froze it on one of them for whatever reason. And right now I'm streaming on a PC. So a little different.
Which has a slightly better spec than the laptop, I assume.
Yeah. This is a what am I using here? I don't even know what I'm using. I'm using I think it's a 3060 graphics.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be enough to handle like a simple 1080p 30 video probably. I mean, right now I am on a 2080 Ti with this visual setup. But it also runs over 2080 in a laptop. So,
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so a 3060 is not quite as powerful as a 2080, but it's really powerful because the NVIDIA chips made a really giant leap between the previous and the current gen.
Exactly. Okay. Philip says, where did he go? It just disappeared on me. Is the laptop ruggedized for heat, rain, falls, sand, outdoor DJ conditions? That's a good question.
Well, it's not ruggedized, so that I can tell you. What I can tell you about the temperature is that I have actually taken the early prototypes with me on vacation to Egypt, and I've played sets in Egypt. And Egypt gets hot. So it's like, I mean, you guys, most of your viewers are in the US. I don't do Fahrenheit and inches and all this weird stuff. But temperatures in Egypt get up to like 40, 45 degrees Celsius. I don't know.
I think if you do the math, it's like 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know. I don't know the conversion process.
It's not 200, but it's somewhere. I think around 110. I think I don't remember. Maybe somebody in chat can convert that for me because I'm.
And you said 45 degrees. Hold on. Siri, convert 45 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
113 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so that's hot.
That is very hot.
Yeah. So that's roughly the temperature that I played sets at with this. And in general, I mean, you have all these openings here, so the air has places to go. When it cools, and it will cool, it has fans, unlike certain other brands that shall remain unnamed. It actually has fans, and they will go. and they will auto adjust to whatever your CPU is currently at. And yes, if you're pushing it in the summer, they are gonna push air, and you're even gonna hear them a little bit. But that's the price of your machine never throttling. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do want to point out that it is pushing maximum specs, because when I first got the computer, the high performance mode wasn't on, and I remember talking to Ray like, Ray, I thought you said this computer was good. Like, what's going on with this? Is not what you promised me. And I'm like, I'm having some serious problems. He goes, oh, maybe the drivers didn't get in properly. Let's go here, click on this, and then literally there was this little panel, and it said high performance mode. Clicked on that, the computer completely changed, like 180 degrees.
Okay, yes. So this is actually something that I'm gonna make content for, because a lot of people that are coming from Mac OS are just not familiar with the strange ways in which Windows can work sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna make little explainer videos that show these things specifically. But by default, Windows comes with a power mode that's called balanced. And that's gonna, as the name suggests, it's just gonna balance performance versus battery life. And in high performance mode, we've kind of tweaked the Windows standard high performance profile and basically set everything on full blast. So the CPU is on max, and it will not stop. You can unplug the power, flip the lid shut, whatever you want, and it's just going to keep going until the battery dies if it's off, if it's not plugged in, until the very last moment. So. It is a difference, and it's kind of, I have to say, it's kind of on me for not making that content at launch. I should have done that, but well, this is something we can fix in the future, and we will. I have a bunch of these videos lined up, so if you guys care to subscribe to the XMG YouTube channel, that's where this content will go. And also, in general, any question, anything, you can just send us an email and I'll answer it. I'll test. So, I mean, I've had people who came in with, hey, can I run these video files? And I'm like, yeah, which software? And Virtual DJ, yeah, sure. So I will actually, in some cases, either myself or one of my colleagues from audio support will actually test your stuff for you. So before you buy, you're going to know, will this file that I'm using work on this machine in this configuration? Because I got two XMG DJ15s in my studio myself. This is the i5, and I've got the i7 in silver, and I actually test stuff. So,
gotcha. Now, and what is what's your YouTube address?
XMG_GG.
_GG. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the official one.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah. A lot of people have been finding me on my personal accounts on social media anyway, but I respond there too. But please try not to do that. I mean, we have this address for a reason, and sometimes it's like I really want to be nice to people, but at the same time, if you look for RK and then you send me a request, I'm just like, it's the weekend, and at the same time, I can't ignore you. So it would be really nice if people use the email address, but if you're in a hurry or something, and I don't know, you have an issue, a gig is coming up, you can do that too if you're in a rush. But keep it for emergencies. That's what I would.
PJ asks, if someone doesn't own a business but works for a club, could they purchase this through the club? If the club has a tax ID, that's all you need. It doesn't matter who you use. You just need the tax ID.
Yeah, and again, we are working on getting that sorted for everybody else, but it's not easy because XMG is based in Germany and we operate in continental Europe, because the EU just, in terms of shipping and taxes, it's just easier. We can show you the price including tax for your country, just like that. Whereas the US, just the number of states is almost twice the number of countries in the EU, almost. It's like 27 versus 50. So just shipping to the US would kind of triple the current load if we had to implement it on the website. So it's not going to happen overnight, but we are very much aware of the demand. So we're going to look into ways of meeting it in the future for sure. Gotcha.
Isotonic said, I was a pure Mac previously. The XMG has completely converted me. So I'm the other side. So like for DJing only, I have no issue. But if I know for a fact that for whatever reason I'm going to be doing a lot of video work, then that little thing in the back of my head says, is it going to be powerful enough to handle that? Because like if I'm doing like 2 video screens and I'm putting out 2 type of video card type things, or it's breaking out, I start to run into that issue. I'm like, should I use that one for this one or what? So there's always that little thing. So I know there are people that are like me, and there are people that aren't like me that are like, I'm just a DJ. I don't really care about that other stuff. I just need a DJ computer. And then there's other people that are like, well, I need to do more with it. So so maybe we should talk about whatever specialties you got possibly happening.
Well, so XMG at the core is a gaming brand. So we are all about that high end, about that ridiculous processing power. I mean,
wait, hold on. Let me stop you right there, because that is a huge thing. I want to throw in, why can't you just buy a gaming brand and DJ with that? It's got all the specs. It's got all the power. What's wrong with just getting a gaming PC?
Same reason I said, same thing I said about the supermarket laptops. That's what I call them. Applies here, is that it's an off-the-shelf laptop. So that gaming brand may have the spec. Absolutely, they will have a good GPU, a good CPU. But 2 things. First of all, they're not going to do any DPC optimization. I've never seen that from any brand. And as again, this DPC stuff is hugely important for audio. And in some cases, like if you go to, I don't know, Sweetwater or Native Instruments, they have those guides that tell you, hey, here are those 37 pages of configuration steps that you can take to kind of optimize your PC for audio. All of this stuff is basically damage control. It's for people who have bought those computers that have not been optimized, and there you have to go in, I don't know, into the registry, kill individual services and all this stuff. This is basically just trying to counteract the inherent issues of the hardware. So the spec alone, so DPC latency is not a function of your processing power. You can have the biggest monstrous media server that you can run CES shows on, and it could still have worse DPC latency than this laptop.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it doesn't. It's about the interplay of components, and again, a gaming laptop, you're not going to notice these things when you're I don't know, when you're playing CS:GO or something. Yeah. And
I would also assume that a lot of things that would potentially be obvious to you when you have a high performance computer, it can mask a lot of those issues, to where you're not really seeing some of those issues until you're like, oh, why is it delayed? Why is it causing me these problems? Why am I having to wait for things? That's when it kicks in, but not when you turn it on and open up Serato and it flies open and everything seems like it's running perfectly, So
I mean, there is a reason why we have a lot of gaming laptops and we're not immediately turning all of them into audio laptops.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Fusion. It's a Fusion 15. Fantastic laptop for gaming, content creation, all this stuff. But in my testing, I just ran into a wall. There was a tiny thing that I couldn't optimize my way around with drivers, BIOS updates, nothing. And so we just looked at it and said, look, it's really good, but it's not good enough for this specific use case. So we're not going to turn this into an audio product.
Gotcha.
So there's a cutoff point for these things. And yeah, and again, there are also people who say, I can do this with any computer. And look, if you really know what you're doing with Windows,
right,
then you can probably optimize your way around certain things. But hardware in the end can stop you.
Yeah, and then they would be you. And if they're you, then they don't necessarily need you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a place for everybody. And I know that there's a guy that can fix my washing machine much better than I could, and quicker and more efficiently. So, there is a place for everything. And, and one other question. And by the way, I'll ask my question, but then I'll ask this guy's question here. He says, are you using a custom Windows image or a standard Windows install and just, I guess, making modifications?
We're modifying a standard. It's like a naked Windows, so it comes without the bloatware, and then we're applying certain things to it. But there are actually there are not that many secrets to the Windows install because, again, we optimize the hardware first.
Yeah.
So the Windows is mostly just a time saver, just the things that you do when you have an audio laptop that you would do on any audio laptop. We just bake them into the system. But there is no super secret sauce or anything. It's really just a Windows machine that is super clean. That's it.
Gotcha.
It's just again, nobody bothers to do that, and we just did it.
And as far as like me being able to use everything on this, was there any thought in mind when you were building the ability to use Wi-Fi, to use Bluetooth, to use, you know, all of the stuff that comes on computers that you know, for the longest time, especially for PC, not for Mac, but for PC, Serato would say, turn it all off. If you're having problems, turn it all off.
Yeah, but again, we come back to the hardware thing.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I specifically wanted Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, to be honest, that maybe you have an iPad and you're running Lemur or TouchOSC on it and you want to control things with that. Or maybe you have one of those Bluetooth motion controllers that you might want to use for effects input, or I don't know, like this isn't specifically Bluetooth, but it's like an example of the things that you can do, and this will put a load on your computer, right? So I wanted to make sure that a person who has these ambitions and has a super custom setup, for them to know that they can do that too. And if you don't, I don't know, if you don't have a network cable, you can run Wi-Fi, you could, you know, you can use BeatSource with Wi-Fi without it crashing. So
yeah,
that's a big deal.
I don't plug in anything on this computer but my USB cord. I run everything through Wi-Fi, everything, because that's 2021. You know, we don't have to run, and there's a very good network card in here. Speeds are good. Yeah. I do love this thing right here. This is actually one of my favorite things. So to keep it slim, the Ethernet port actually expands.
Yeah,
it's a little.
I'm going to show that because I don't think people can see that in
here,
your visual.
Let me go.
But it basically like flips down, so it's slim. But when you plug in the network plug, you kind of yeah. There's no way to really show that well.
No, that's okay though.
Do that well.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But I love that little feature. The materials, and I know that, I mean, it has this aluminum frame and then the plastic bottom. It's so light to carry around. That's one of the things that I do love. And it's funny that you mentioned that high performance mode doesn't shut off, because for the longest time I was thinking, am I going crazy? How come I close the book and nothing happens? It just keeps going. I had to put it to sleep in order for it to stop running. But that's why the high performance mode.
Yeah. There's a caveat to that. So you actually have to remember to set it to sleep mode. Otherwise, you're just going to flip it shut and put it in your backpack and just going to keep running. So yeah, that's something that you have to look out for. But again, that's the trade-off for having a laptop that just doesn't stop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and a couple of cool things like the ability to change your keyboard colors and you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's the little things. But it's
you guys
it's
are gonna freak in a few minutes.
So let's just acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Also, hold on. I see a question from DJ Philip Tan. Is there something that people often install on their Windows machine that hurts DJ performance? I'm thinking antivirus software, but there might be something less obvious. Not really. Antivirus software is like the number one thing that I actually get questions for. Do I need antivirus software in Windows? Windows is prone to getting viruses, blah, blah, blah. No. Basically, okay, it's snake oil. This entire industry is always playing catch up to whatever's out in the wild. So if your best bet is to have a browser that has an ad blocker plugin, which you have to remember to turn off for the people you like who make money off of ads. But other than that, that plugin, like I would say 95+% of all malicious software installs that happen when you're surfing come from ads. And this is like, this is not going to happen when you're on Facebook or something. But when you're going to, this is the other thing, sanitize your browsing habits. If you go to awesomesoftwareforfree.ru or some site like that that's going to have 27 ad embeds on it, one of those is going to be bad, and the ad blocker is going to catch them. So I'm not telling you to go to these sites, but if you browse risky content, that's where you get your viruses. And your antivirus, your Avast or whatever free solution you use isn't gonna, it's only really gonna hog resources. So that's the number one thing. Other than that, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. So I run on my PCs, they run everything. They literally, especially this guy right here, it runs all the things. It's my office machine. I do content, so After Effects, Premiere, Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, Resolume, all my audio stuff, like everything. And I use it on average 12 to 14 hours a day, which is a little bit scary, but it's actually also true. And this is true for all my PCs. So it's really just common sense is the best antidote that you can have.
It's always common sense.
Yeah. It's just not very common.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm not going to say what PJ said. So one of the questions from Lord Blanca said, on your install, how many processes are running in the background before adding any software?
Do you want a number? I don't know. I could boot it up and look, but like basically, we're not actually killing anything. Like because if we went into the image, super nerds will tell you that if you go super deep into the image and you kill certain services, you might actually lower the DPC latency even further. That's very much true. But when you're already getting 64 samples driver latency, how much further do you want to go? Yeah. It's like you are already at the limit of the laws of physics. You can't go faster. And it's not gonna, the probability of anything happening on this, and I've tried very hard because it's not like I just spec them. I actually, I will hook them up to different gear. I will DJ on them, like actually test them as you will use them. If I can't get something to break, that means that it's quite solid because I'm good at breaking stuff. So there is no need to kill these things. That's the whole thing. You just need it's the same thing that you have with a MacBook. It is a hardware running an operating system that was designed for it. And that's why it performs so well out of the box. You can do this same thing with Windows. You just have to prep it well and test it. That's the entire secret sauce. There's no magic. It's just testing.
And the Mac does MIDI better debate.
The Mac does MIDI better debate. It's true. I agree with that. The core MIDI implementation is actually better. Like there are certain things on Windows that are going to require some workarounds. Like the number one thing that annoys me personally is that you can't use the same MIDI controller with two pieces of software at the same time. But you can just open a virtual MIDI port. Like, for example, I have one instance of Ableton Live that does nothing but MIDI routing. But none of these things are really relevant when you're DJing. I mean, it's, of course, up at a certain level. When you, like this construct right here, everything you're seeing, that requires some hacking and thinking. But for this specific product, I mean, if you have a problem with it and if there's something you want to do, you can always ask me. I will tell you how. But in terms of like MIDI devices being plug and play and MIDI just working, it just works. You just plug it in and it works. So nothing specific that I could tell you with everything that I do that would have ever stopped me from achieving a result that I wanted, except for that one controller talking to two pieces of software. You actually need to open a virtual MIDI port for each piece of software and then send that there. That's your safest bet. But other than that, you're fine.
Right. And by the way, on high performance mode, how long would you say on a given, DJ software, how long would the battery last? Without
2-3 hours. 2-3 hours. Yeah, okay. It's like, and that's being generous, to be honest, because this mode is basically, it's not throttling at all. So it's going to drain the battery. That's it. Like let's just not overpromise. 2 hours. So you're going to be able to play a set in high performance mode, but you should really keep it plugged in.
Gotcha. Okay. Dre Day 2K7 says my MSI from 2015 is doing fine. I recommend buying an external CPU fan to cool the processor for VDJ.
Yeah, or you can just buy a machine that understands how cooling works. Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired. Pop, pop, pop.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, and we all, anybody that's ever had a Mac, it's the real world is, hey, can you put an ice block underneath my MacBook so it doesn't overheat in the summer? Because it gets so damn hot in some of these clubs. You don't want to do it, but every so often to keep your computer from shutting down completely, that's the option, unfortunately. So, yeah, but although I haven't had any overheating on the 16. 16's been good to me, just in general. But still. Anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Rob said, I have designated my DJ15 as a clean computer. The only reason why I go online is to update Windows or Rekordbox software. All my music downloads are performed on another computer and then transferred. Exactly.
You can do your music downloads on the DJ15. It's not going to break. It's all good.
Unless you're pulling them from a site that you shouldn't be pulling them from. Because some people will download from YouTube and go to the secondary YouTube page, and next thing you know.
Okay, if you look, if you download your music from YouTube, you have lost all support privileges. I'm not helping you. You already lost. Like, listen to Mojax. Mojax says playing YouTube rips is a crime, and he's right. Don't do that. But basically, in terms of just managing, so how can I best put this? Like, if you look around the setup, everything in here has like one specific purpose. I could probably minimize a lot of this. Also, in terms of the laptops that I'm using for streaming, I could probably do all of this off one beefy machine. But I like to have one tool for one specific purpose, and this is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be the thing that replaces your current MacBook. I mean, most of people who are perhaps considering this already own a MacBook, right?
Right.
So hold on to your MacBook. It's amazing for the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is. It's really good. I mean, I'm not bashing Apple. They make really good computers, but not for DJing. Not anymore. They used to. I mean, hold on. Just going to censor myself for a little bit. Where is that thing? All right. Look. I used to be one of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I also had one of was that the 13-inch? They had one that was completely matte black.
Yep.
So I had one of those too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually ended up giving it away to a friend who really needed a computer, because at that time I switched to PC again. But I did have a Mac face, and they look at this computer. It has all the ports. It has all. It's freaking amazing. But they just stopped doing that, and now it's a really nice coaster for my drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 MacBooks in here. But that 2012 is the standard.
Yeah.
2012 MacBook Pro Retina, the standard of all things MacBook.
If these existed today, I wouldn't really be all too cocky about this product, to be honest. But they dropped the ball.
Yeah,
they did, because it's a brand. They kind of built the entire brand image is built on the creative, on the cool person. And now that it's been built, that person doesn't really matter anymore. Like the pro, like it annoys me for my friends who use Macs, genuinely, because I understand very well what it feels like when you're used to a platform, and all of a sudden that platform lets you down. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And I think PJ said it correctly. He said, having the XMG keeps me from bringing my $4,500 16-inch MacBook Pro to a club where it can get spilled on. I actually don't disagree with them, because although this computer is just for DJing, my MacBook does everything. So I don't want to have something happen to my MacBook. If I lost my MacBook, I'd be in a serious situation. You know what I mean?
Man, it's kind of like losing your phone. So much stuff is on it.
Exactly. All my Final Cut stuff, all my YouTube stuff, it's all on that MacBook. So like for instance, okay, here's a perfect example. So I have this setup here, this YouTube setup, which is also my streaming setup. And I was using products that I already had in house because you couldn't find anything. So you would use, okay, I'll go to my studio, I'll grab an HDMI cord, I'll grab this, I'll grab that. And then you start to realize, well, every time I go somewhere, I got to unplug everything. I don't want to do that. I want to have a dedicated tool for this. I don't want to move anything around this area. This area stays the way this area stays. So when I leave, that's what it is. And I think it takes a minute which is probably Apple's fault, because they did a really good job of kind of telling you this is all you need. Here's your computer. It's all you do it all. Oh, here's your iPad. You can do it all, even though you can't. If they come out with Final Cut for the iPad, I don't even know that I would have a MacBook Pro.
Dude, the iPad with the M1 chip, I'll say it right now, I'm probably gonna get one.
Yeah.
Because they nailed certain things Apple has absolutely nailed. But have you tried putting an SD card into that? And you're gonna need a dongle. That's where it sucks. Like they are really, really good devices. They are, but not for certain things. And you can't even really blame them, because that's what the market is, So it just sucks if you're used to it. And especially since COVID, since people have started streaming and realized, oh, holy shit, and the MacBook hardware encoding kind of non-existent. It's not really good.
It sucks.
So
it sucks. It sucks for streaming. Bottom line.
Yeah, it does.
I know that OBS has come up with some updates to make it a little better, but it just doesn't run as well as it does on the PC. They finally put the docks in the Mac version, so now you can actually dock like your chat and your activity feed, but you couldn't do that for an entire year. So it's as far as certain things, Macs are second-class citizens. You just have to understand that, But like I said before, I was using a 2012 MacBook Pro to stream with because it was my spare computer, and I think I cooked it to death. It still works, but certain things do not work well anymore. Like if I try to stream on it now, it shuts down on me. So I've
press F in chat. Press F in chat to pay respects.
So when I got this guy right here from OG Arabian Prince, changed everything for me. And I look, this last 3-4 months, I have done more on PC than I have done in the past 10 years. And I honestly, I'm a fan now. I understand, for the longest time, your brain just kind of tells you, nope, Macs are better. Macs are better. That's all you need. They do everything perfectly. And then you start to realize that they don't really do everything perfectly. There's some things they don't do well, and that's okay. It's okay.
So tell us about your PC though. Like what have you got there? I mean, just because I'm with XMG doesn't mean that I'm not interested. I'm still a nerd. So
this is a EVGA / Goat Nation, which is made by OG Arabian Prince system. So it has all EVGA parts in it. It has I think it was right, the Ryzen 7 3600 AMD. It has the 3060 Ti. There was a Ti version, not just the 3060. And it's water cooled. What else does it have? 2 terabyte drive, 2 terabyte storage, 1 terabyte solid state as the boot drive. It's a super good computer.
How much RAM?
32 gigs of RAM.
How much was it? Just so I'm doing market research on streaming.
Actually around the price of this one, about the same price. Yeah, about 1,500. Yeah. So
damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, that's a low end GPU, but still, for everybody in chat wondering about these for streaming specifically, they're all going to have pretty much the same generation of the hardware encoder. And the way this works on NVIDIA cards is that it's a separate chip that is dedicated only to encoding your video.
Right.
So you can still do anything. You can play a game, and that's not going to impact the performance of your video encoding for your stream at all, which is what makes NVIDIA GPUs so amazing. Mm-hmm. It's like, I really like that about them. It was a genius move, and the performance of that. I mean, I've tested pretty much everything there is, and just NVIDIA just wipes the floor with everybody. Yeah. So
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I remember because I remember my MacBook Pro. I'm like, it has an NVIDIA graphics card in it, and it's like, no, not that one. we need something better than that. And what Philip Tan is saying, to be fair, the OBS parity is on the OBS dev team, not on Apple. This is true, but the graphics cards that Apple chooses to use is on Apple. They could go a different route, but they choose not to because for power. They want the computer to be able to, like, run for long periods of time. I get that, but still, graphics cards always been on them.
And also sorry, but I disagree. It's not on OBS. It's on Apple, because certain manufacturers, like Intel, for example, the quality of QuickSync, which is their hardware encoder, was kind of terrible, but they started working directly with the OBS team, and that's gone through the roof. QuickSync is actually a lot better than it once was, and that's because they work together with them. Now imagine, I can't imagine a scenario where Apple talks to the OBS people. No. So that's on Apple. Mm-hmm. Sorry. And it's kind of the same way, like AMD has a hardware encoder as well. Not good. Really not. Because they don't work with OBS. It's like Intel has, I'm not going to say that they caught up to NVIDIA, but their hardware encoders become really good because of that, specifically. So in the current and in the next generation of iGPUs, the integrated chip is really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you're gonna end up with like maybe a 1080 integrated GPU.
Let's not be too optimistic, but it's genuine. Like, I've seen game streamers do that, and game streamers go 1080p 60. And if they can pull off their stream with a lot of, I mean, a gaming stream is different than a DJ stream. This is just like one person sitting here doing this stuff, whereas a gaming stream, like the entire frame changes 60 times per second, so the encoder is working a lot harder. So the fact that an iGPU can pull this off is really impressive, actually.
Gotcha.
So,
RC says, 1 terabyte boot drive sounds like overkill. It may be, but all the applications are on there, and it is what it is. I'd rather have a too big of a drive than too small, because I've done that too, and that sucks. But yeah, might be a little overkill.
What is overkill? I find the notion of overkill insulting. Like, the tech is there, use it.
Yeah. Bomb Entertainment says, what file format is best for your music? Can you download media to your Mac and easily use it on your PC? Of course. If we're talking about music, everybody is using either MP4, MP3, AAC, FLAC, maybe. I don't use FLAC, whatever. But AAC, MP4, MP3, which are kind of the standards, work on all computers easily.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So MP3, Wave, Apple.
Wave too, yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine. Now, FLAC, I personally shop on Bandcamp a lot, and I always grab FLAC because it's a lossless format.
Sure.
So if the site offers that, I will grab that 10 out of 10 times. Now, the problem with that format, specifically on Mac OS, is that you can't just drop these files onto your iPhone or iPod or whatever,
right?
Because Apple has their own version of that codec for whatever freaking reason, because FLAC is an open standard. So these files are going to be a better experience on PC, because on Android you can just drag them on your phone.
Right.
But I would, to answer the question, if you're buying music right now and you have the option to go lossless, I definitely recommend going lossless, because storage is becoming cheaper, and it's not a huge performance impact on your DJ software to play these. So I test FLACs on this as well. So it's not a big deal. Sure, the files are about 5-6 times bigger. Sure, they are, but the quality is, when you're playing on a big sound system, something like a Function 1. Oh, did I? What's that?
You're good. You're still
what
good.
Is that? Strange. My computer is doing weird things. It shouldn't be. It's probably because I'm running way too much. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, the encoding is not happening there. Okay, it doesn't matter. So the whole
When you're
where
running
was
it
I?
on it, when you're
Yeah,
running it on a big.
when you're running these. I mean, again, storage is getting cheaper, but when you're running these things through like a big sound system, like a function one or a void, something where you will tell the difference between an MP3 and a wave. The FLAC is the perfect format between that. And you will tell the difference. I promise you that, because I stood in front of a void Incubus and I cried tears. So
Okay, all right.
it's not a joke. Like when you're playing festivals, just don't skimp. A lot of people when you're playing EDM are not going to be able to tell the difference between a 320, but yeah. Especially when you're redlining and squeezing that stuff through a limiter, then it goes out the window. Just take the YouTube rips. But
that's funny.
I didn't say that.
Bomb Entertainment asks, NFTS fat, which I believe it's NFTS, right?
NTFS.
NFTs,
that's the current crypto R type.
Yeah, I know. I'm going. Yeah.
NTFS, NTFS is the Windows file system.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be able. So if you were to, not that you can take your SSD out of your Mac, but HFS Plus, which is the Mac OS sound system, isn't going to be accessible. Just as Windows can't write or read from HFS Plus, the same is true in the reverse. So you want to use an external drive for that, and just format that thing to exFAT. Just do that, because it will support large file sizes. It will work on every OS. Now, what it won't do is the encryption-specific stuff, like this file belongs to this user. This is why you use specific file systems on each operating system. If you put something in like your documents folder and it's an NTFS file, it's going to block access when you try to get to it from the outside. That's it. exFAT doesn't do that.
Gotcha.
But in terms of transferring your music, just use an exFAT drive and you're fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see here.
Don't start Ray on NFTs. Darren says, yeah, don't start me on no, don't.
So Digital WizJam says the only problem is I play videos, but Isotonic says I use it purely for video. So
here's the thing. I'm gonna do it now because it's been mentioned so many times that it's time to talk about it. And Isotonic, Darren, he actually already has that unit. So he's not talking about the DJ15. He's talking about what we're releasing next. And before I show it to you guys, I want to make clear that this isn't a replacement or a successor to the DJ15. This is going to be a different product for a different use case, all right? Let me just censor myself and then grab that real quick.
Okay.
Where is it? I got so many computers in here. It's almost like which one do I grab? It's like, it's what happens when you test. So, let's talk about the feedback that we've received so far. People have said we want a more powerful CPU, a more powerful GPU, which is streaming capable. We would like the machine to be black. Like somebody on the official channel said, techno DJs want a black laptop. So yeah, there you go. This is a product. This is like a semi-leak. It already exists. This is the XMG Pro 15. You can find it on the XMG site right now. However, the Pro 15 that you can find right now is not audio optimized. So there will be an audio variant of this. We're in the final stages of going through the Windows settings, the BIOS stuff, and this machine has it has a higher performance class of CPU, and it also comes with RTX 3000 series GPUs. So you can go all the way up to a 3080 Max-Q, which if the stuff that you're seeing right here should be running comfortably off of that. So it's pretty beefy. It has, just like the DJ15, it has all the ports, all the right ports, has plenty of vents for cooling. It's all metal, so it's a little bit heavier than the DJ15. It's just sexy. And now, in your video, you mentioned that you didn't like the position of the shift button.
That is correct. I did say that.
That is correct. So here's the thing. The backlighting on this has 15 presets. The backlighting on this is full RGB per key.
Wow.
So you could just highlight the shift button
that's great.
and the arrows in whichever color you want, and then just basically make a keyboard layout that will help you in the dark to never miss that shift button. Of course, it's gonna do all the gamer stuff, like wave effects and I don't know, ripples when you hit a key and all this. It's really a super powerful machine. I've had it in the studio now for quite some time because stress testing a laptop that does visuals as well takes a little bit longer than doing it with just a DJ laptop, because here we're just focusing on audio, but here we're focusing on audio and all the video stuff. So this is your machine for streaming, for video DJing, for video editing. Has a 144 hertz screen, so it's going to be, the screen is faster than your software can render the waveforms. There is also a 300 hertz option for those who really like that refresh rate. And there is a 4K option, and it's going to be glossy just like on a Mac, but all these things are available. And the GPU started at 3060 and go all the way up to a 3080Q. And this is the higher tier of XMG laptop, which you will soon be able to get. What is the name model on this CPU? What do I say? Well, there are certain things I can't tell you.
Yeah, that's fine.
There are certain things I can't, but it's an H CPU. Like in here, it's a U CPU, which is like the low TDP, basically the lowest tier, the highest battery saving CPU, and
because it's still a laptop. We have to remember this.
And here is the beastly laptop CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Now, XMG also makes even more powerful laptops, which are these. They are called Ultra for a reason, because these have desktop specs. So that's going to be like a desktop CPU, and it's just going to eat anything. But this is actually sufficiently low, so you can produce on it. You can perform live. You can project to 3 screens.
You can stream because it has that dedicated graphics card, so you can stream and DJ on the same computer.
Yes, you can stream and DJ with video on the same computer. You can play a live set. You can VJ. I mean, Isotonic is in the stream. I think he still uses an Atom for encoding. Darren, correct me.
That is insane.
So
it is more insane that I haven't been able to test this computer out yet.
I think honestly, it's going to be a challenge for every reviewer to actually stress test this guy. I'm kind of confident in saying that, and it still has that low DPC latency, no audio spikes. Now, before you rush to the XMG website and start ordering the Pro 15, this runs a different BIOS. It runs a different Windows, and the config is different. So don't go buying it now. It's not far away. It's coming soon.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
If you're really interested in it, you can just drop us a line. Maybe you can show that email address again.
Yep.
And if you do that, I'm just going to make personally sure that you all get the link when it becomes available, before we even start, talking loudly about it.
Are the speakers any better? You can be honest with us.
Yeah, they are a little better than on this, but they're not going to be. If you compare it to a MacBook, it's not going to win. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but it definitely is better than the DJ15, because it's not hard to sound better than the DJ15. And yes, I am talking about my own product, but it's also true because it wasn't really made for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
in terms of just performance and just balls out, do whatever you want, this is the box you want. I can't say anything about the price yet. That's going to take a little bit, but yeah. I'd like to be a Rich Nice Little BC says I'd like to be a lab animal. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to be honest. Testing these is a lot of work, and at some point, it's like you have to do so much and account for so many use cases, specifically with this. Like, I mean, I've run VR off of this. Like I have a VR room next door, and this is VR capable, which is insane. You can play VR games and stream them.
Okay. All right.
So
That
of
sounds
course,
amazing.
Yeah,
It sounds absolutely amazing.
it is. And yeah. So stay tuned. These will be available soon, and that will be, I think, for a while. So people have asked if there's going to be a next generation of the DJ machine with a smaller form factor. This is something we also have. Like, I read those comments, so I have a huge file with requests from people. I remember these things that you talk about, but for now, this was the priority. There are, you all know that right now there are certain issues with hardware availability. So a DJ machine, the successor to this, isn't going to come anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go with this one. And again, we have Isotonic Studios in the chat. He already has this exact machine. He's running his streams off it. And yeah, if you've just, can I name drop my friends?
Of course.
Is that cool?
No, do your thing.
Follow Isotonic Studios, because just watch his streams. He's dope. Really.
Oh, that was it? Just the one name drop?
Yeah,
I thought you were going to name drop some more.
I can drop a whole lot. I mean, can I?
Of course you can.
So there's another person whom I'd like to mention. I think most people should be aware, but I'm just going to say it anyway. DJ Dekine. He is probably, if you want to learn about the history of disco and house and basically get educated on selecting while watching a really well produced stream, that's where you go. He has a really cool Discord, and it's sort of like just a whole bunch of people helping each other out, and I really like that community. Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, not even gonna name drop myself, but you can follow me too. I do crazy video stuff.
Gotcha. Well, let's see here. So yeah, we don't have a price on the newer XMG. We'll just have to. We'll know when we know. I wouldn't even begin to speculate. But
I mean, you can kind of look at the Pro 15 in the shop right now. That's going to serve as a reference, because it's at the core, it's the same machine, and we're not charging a markup for the audio stuff at all.
Gotcha.
So you can go off that, but the final price will, of course, only be visible once because the component selection and this is going to be limited to the stuff that we've actually tested and approved, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be the same base computer, but the spec is going to be different, and that's going to affect the price.
Gotcha. Yeah. Which it's not cheap. I mean, it looks. I'm just looking at the price. It's a little over $2 European. So that's.
But again, it's like it's gonna smoke this guy,
of course,
by several orders of magnitude, because it's a different product for a different purpose. It's the everything machine, and it's still gonna be cheaper than a MacBook Pro, especially if you start. So here's where you notice when you start upgrading your storage, there's not going to be an insane markup on storage. We just go by component prices.
Right.
Whereas when you buy a MacBook, yeesh.
Yeah. I paid 4K for my 16-inch MacBook.
Dude, I didn't even pay 4K for these, and they smoke iMacs.
Yeah. No, I understand. So, it's a thing we deal with. We if you're in the Mac ecosystem, and again, this was probably before I even thought that there was a PC even capable of competing. But we're in a different situation now. And I mean, we're now, obviously the M1s, a 16 core MacBook Pro 16 M1, different ball game altogether. But that computer's also going to be $5-6 grand.
Yeah, I mean, see the whole thing with the M1. I'm really impressed by that chip. Yeah, it's no doubt it's a really, really impressive piece of hardware. But again, it brings such a trail of hard work for the industry to catch up to that, because it's a different CPU. Like you have to refactor all your stuff just to account for that. And they're not in the streaming game. There are certain things that Apple just isn't doing.
Yeah.
They don't care about these things. So and streaming has been big on PC since Twitch. So
yeah. But I think Isotonic probably nailed it, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. So he says, "Don't think I'll drop another 4K on a Mac again." See, that's the issue. That's what this computer has done, and that's what the Goat Nation computer has done for me. It's basically really made me realize that first off, you don't have to get it all in one computer. That's the first thing. But also, you can get a lot for your money. And you don't necessarily have to spend $4, $5, $6 on a computer just to realize that, oh wow, you mean I can't stream with this? Like that alone? Like I stream obviously when I'm doing gigs, but like it's like one camera. Like I'm not doing anything special with it. The moment you start introducing, hardcore graphics and things like that, and you're DJing, that's when you start running into problems.
Yeah, I mean, when you start doing stuff like this, where you have audio responsive stuff that's being calculated in real time. I couldn't even
do that. So I was doing a 24-hour stream, and I actually got Drew, and he's like, "Yeah, he was using the Isotonic Studio stuff. He's like, download the stuff." So I downloaded all the Isotonic Studio stuff. By the way, thank you Isotonic Studios for the files. Pull them in, open up Ableton, and I'm like, Drew, the screen isn't moving at all. He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, just lower your blah, blah, blah." Nothing. And he shows me his. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, it's the Mac. The Mac is not able to do a lot of these things. So
it's really, when you work with these, like I think what you're talking about is Ebo Suite, which is a fantastic library. I really like it. But I'm just waiting until it comes out on Windows.
Yeah. Because
that's where graphical processing power is. I mean, everybody watching right now, this is generative graphics responding to my live mic input. Like this can't be faked. And the same thing happens when I DJ. It's like if I could do it on anything else, I would probably do it. But the reason I went for PC was specifically this: that a couple of years ago, I think good decade ago at this point, they just started outperforming Apple, and they've just kept going. And then Apple is gonna, with the stuff that's happening now, you're gonna have. Apple is heading more towards like a consolidation of mobile and desktop OSs, and that's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic for certain things, like just going between it. You mentioned the ecosystem. That's the good part about Apple, just AirDrop stuff. That's Windows can't really compete with that. But again, there are other things that Apple can compete with. But they are for a handful of people, and we need to be aware of that. So you can't really bash Apple for not doing these things.
Yeah, exactly. Did I hit 5 yet? I've been sitting at 4.9 followers for the longest time. I don't even know what I'm at right now.
Dude, follow. If you're not following, follow Cleveland right now.
Let's see what
right now, and tell your friends to follow him.
Creator dashboard. I am sitting at on Twitch 4.992.
Come on. Just
I'm 8 away from 5K.
I'm gonna stay on the stream until this happens. I have a coffee right here. I got all the time in the world. Tell your friends to follow right now.
So DJ Bankai says, so what is being used to produce the effects?
You mean in my visual right now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so this is Resolume Arena. This is Resolume Arena, and basically what's happening, like the smoke that you see, it's basically how nerdy do you want to get? So think of Resolume Arena as a mixture of Ableton Live and Photoshop, but it's for video. So you have a grid with clips on it, and those clips are like my camera feed, for example, which is coming in from this beautiful, like way too hardcore for streaming camera. It's a Blackmagic 4K with a Canon lens on it. Yeah. And that's going through a capture device, and it's going through several layers. So, for example, the way the smoke works is I'm duplicating the the visual from the camera and keying that out. So that allows me to do stuff like this, mess around with parameters of individual layers. And I have a duplicate of the camera feed, which is here. And that's just audio reactive smoke. But that's layered underneath the camera visual. So that kind of blends together, and it gives me these smoke trails. Mm-hmm. And for the audio response, I'm just listening to the mic in this case. And everything else is just like, I don't know, video loops that I can then control. This is it requires a little bit of hacking, but if you guys want to learn about that, I have a simple rule. I never keep any secrets about anything. So I'm just going to drop my signature emoji combo in the chat right now. And if you guys care, you can click follow on that channel, Unreal DJing. I mostly play sets. Sometimes I will do VR or fly a drone or something. But the general rule is, if you want to know how any of this works, you can always ask me, because I really love just showing people and helping people out with their setups. Like anybody who has a problem, just come to me. I'll help you. You don't have to be an XMG customer. I will just help you out. I've been doing that before I was part of XMG. So, and I actually love making stuff work. I'm kind of like Professor BX in that way. It's just, oh, this doesn't exist, or I didn't think of that. Let's figure it out. So if I can help you,
the man literally built like his own version of. He's insane. He's insane.
yeah. Like we have those nerd out sessions where we just hop on a video call for 6 hours, and just hey, built this and I built that. It's like this friendly rivalry thing where we're pushing each other to always like this weekend. I kind of or last week I figured out a way. If you're watching my streams, you're going to be able to, for example, say iPod commercial, and then this is going to happen. So you can actually control my visuals from the stream. We're not talking like generating emotes from chat, but actually talking to this. So I'm taking this controller and giving it to you guys. So these are the kinds of things that Professor BX and I just do for fun. And then we always love to share how to build them, because it's exciting, because whatever I do or he does or anybody like us throws out in the world tends to come back remixed by somebody else, and that's just the best thing ever. It's like when you've given somebody an idea and then they run with it and they do something that where you look at it and you go like, oh, how,
Yeah, agreed. This can't even run OBS on another monitor without glitches. We get it. We've all been
there's
there.
Your answer. If you like this, you can hook up 3 screens to this, and I know that Isotonic Studios, Darren, he does that. So,
gotcha. All right, so I think we've gone pretty well here. We are. We got a couple more minutes, so if you have any questions out there, just put the ask in the chat. Any questions? We'll take a couple more, because I do have I got to eat first off, and and I have some clients to call. So please, if you have any more questions, drop them in the chat. We'll take a couple more, and then we're gonna head off here. Any more? Which I think we've answered pretty much all of them, though. To be honest with you, they've all been.
Yeah, this isn't rocket science. It's just computers.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's see here. I think we might be able to get out of this. This is good.
Yeah.
Have we?
Imagine this.
Let's see. Okay, so here's one looks like for you.
Other special platters on the turntables. No, this is phase. So this is literally just a phase controller.
Okay. Oh,
you've all seen this. This isn't. I'm just. So the way you do this is actually. It doesn't. If you remember what Miss Pinky is, this is a hack that sends Miss Pinky timecode. And then Miss Pinky is spitting out OSC, and there's a little hack involved in getting Miss Pinky to spit out the right OSC to talk to Resolume. So whatever clip I select, it will talk to that exclusively. And also, if I have this generated visual, it's also controlling the parameters of that. So basically, all the things are audio responsive and in sync. But again, this is like a nerd session for 3 hours. I will tell you everything, but not now because Terry needs to eat.
Yes, because
So
my eyes are glossing over.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Gatsby asks, this is a good question. What about fan noise? Fan noise is virtually silent once you start up. So when you start up, the fan kicks in from what I've seen.
Oh yeah. That's always the case.
Yeah,
It will spin up. The fan noise becomes an issue when you really stress it. But just as a reference, like in Serato, you will rarely go over 25% CPU. So you will rarely.
So this right now is it's been running the whole time. It's playing music in the background, even though you can't hear it. This is the sound. I mean, there's virtually nothing. So no fan noise.
Thank you, Mojax. Mojax is in chat, and Mojax said, "Who cares about fan noise when you're DJing?" Thank you.
Mojax always bringing the spice.
yeah. I mean, it's what I've been trying to politely tell people, but then Mojax just kicks in the door. It's like, who cares about fan noise? True, because when you're like, even when you have monitors and you just crank these a little, you're not going to hear that.
Yeah, very true.
If you're DJing on headphones for a set because you don't want to upset your neighbors at 3 a.m., you're not going to hear that. But when you're in the club, this beast right there on full blast, you're not going to hear it because the monitor is going to be so much louder. Of course, if we're talking production and you really push it, you might hear these fans and find them annoying. So if you work like this, if you just work hunched over your laptop and work like that, might be an issue for some people. But would you like that? Or would you like to freeze every other track that you're working on and just wait for that to bounce to audio so you know? There is a trade-off for everything. You either go thermal or you have fans. Until we invent some new thing that bends the laws of physics, that's what you're going to have to contend with. And of course, we're going to shoot to make these things as quiet as possible, but really that's more an issue when you're building a proper studio desktop. Now, if and when we build one of these, you can just assume that they're going to be silent. But with laptops, it's not always possible because there's only so much room. I mean, look at the slits under this. The air has to go somewhere, and something needs to push that air as well. So,
yeah, I got it. Decatur says, "I bet Rekordbox will make the fan move." I think this is a misconception of Rekordbox. People think that Rekordbox runs heavy. I don't agree. I've always had a really good experience with Rekordbox. I think it actually runs pretty light.
Yeah, Rekordbox will run on an ARM.
Yeah.
I think Rekordbox is an easy contender for probably the most lightweight DJ software, which is really impressive given what it can do. It's much lighter than Serato and Traktor, 100%. And I'm saying that as a Traktor DJ. I really like Rekordbox. Like this, there's a huge potential in this software, and it runs wonderfully on this. What is it
with brainiacs and like super tech nerds that always run Traktor? What is it with you guys?
Okay, so I bought Traktor in 2001. There was no Serato.
Right.
So I have history with that. And when Serato came out, everybody, as I was getting into drum and bass at that time, everybody and their mom started using Serato. And I just wasn't convinced because at that time I was still very much in love with CDs and looping and all this stuff and just, But when Traktor went there, I was like, oh, and I kind of stuck. So the reason I use Traktor predominantly is because it allows me to map my stuff. Again, self-promoting on your stream, but just come watch what I do and I will show you the things that I can do with Traktor that are just really, really hard with other things. Like you can, with Serato, you can do a lot, but you have to go in the XMLs and do it manually. Meanwhile, Traktor has this really clunky old mapping editor, but it works. So I can have, for example, something like the volume meter on the deck. I can send that out as a MIDI message without much hassle. I can just add out, and I could let that talk to Resolume through a virtual MIDI port and just, just trigger this on and off on every beat, something like that. So it's more the nerds DVS.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Also there is no Control D2 for any other software, and I really like those controllers, but that's beside the point. It's a question of preference. Like Tractor sucks at certain things. Like it doesn't really have smart sync. Like it won't when you have an 87 and 174 BPM track, both drum and bass, you hit sync, that 87 BPM track is speeding up, and Mojax can tell you a story about that. But basically, Tractor isn't all too clever about certain things, but it's just really good at so many other things. Keylock sounds fantastic. You can have, so here's one thing that I really like about Tractor. I have on this controller here, I have a slightly bigger encoder. And that's doing pitch bends, but it's not going in whole semitones. It's going in eighths of a semitone. Mm-hmm. So I don't go boo, 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 boo. I go boo. Just this thing, which Tractor has been able to do for 12 years now, has been such an important addition just to my routines. Anything tone play where people get excited about, going semitones up and down. No, do pitch bends. It's amazing, but you have to build it.
Okay.
And Tractor lets you do that. That's it. So it's not a pissing contest. It's just like what you prefer, and I prefer this.
It sounds like to me like Tractor is a tinkering toy. It's one of those can do it all type things, and if you just put the time in, it can be amazing. Yeah.
And that's why Serato wins, because you don't have to put the time in. You just plug in your S11 or whatever and just auto maps to everything. Mm-hmm. And Tractor won't do that. It will do that with Native Instruments hardware, but not with like something like the Zone 96. You have to do the routings manually. It takes a little bit of work, and I perfectly understand people who just can't be bothered to do that.
Like me.
Like 90% of the time, what are you going to do in a club? You're playing tracks A/B.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves. You're going to do the occasional echo out, beat repeat, or whatever, maybe a little bit of filter. Yeah, you're not doing the 4-deck mixology with 2 VST effects from Ableton. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I do, but nobody really gives a shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah. This right here, number one problem of Tractor, lack of out-of-the-box hardware support and full-size jog wheel controllers. I can't tell you how many times I see something getting promoted and you look down to the third post and it's like, will it work with Tractor? Are you guys going to put in? It's like, if you have to ask that question every time a piece of gear comes out, it's just not the right gear. It's not the right software for me. I need it to work.
I mean, Phase works with Tractor just fine. Mm-hmm. It does. Their timecode vinyl works just fine. If you have, I don't know, like one of those controllers with the static jog wheels, that's going to be trouble. That's true. Like if anyone who can map a jog wheel in Tractor is a hero, how do I put this? It's not always Native Instruments' fault. But I don't want to go too much into detail because it will be talking about industry things that I'm not supposed to talk about. But it's not always Native Instruments' fault or decision. Mm-hmm. Let's just leave it at that. So don't dump on them for things that they can't control. Okay. It's like I can tell you one story about Native Instruments, which made me love Tractor. When this guy came out, the D2, they introduced stems, which sadly nobody uses, but now it's going to probably come back, blah, blah, blah. When that version came out, they patched something out. So before that, if you wanted to use something like the Zone or maybe a Rain mixer, it wouldn't connect. You couldn't use it as a timecode device. So what you had to do is actually go into the executable and change like parts of the code manually. Mm-hmm. Of the compiled binary. You would have to like type in the name of the specific name of the audio interface, and then it would work. There was kind of like a backdoor that they left in for the 3 people who would need it. I'm one of those. Mm-hmm. And then they patched it out. So I just write them an email, guys, what happened? And within like a day, they brought it back. They said, oh shit, we patched it out by accident. That wasn't supposed to happen. And they did that. Before they updated it again, they just sent me a version that worked. This is the kind of people you're working with when you're a Tractor user, because they really care.
Yeah.
And I'm a nobody.
You guys kind of have to, though. you're like the anti DJ. And all honesty, because everybody else is Serato or virtual DJ or record box, and then it's like the tractor guys, and you guys have to stick together. Like you can't let it break away, or if you do, you might lose tractor altogether. So,
Yeah.
and Mojax is on one today. He said, "Ha ha ha ha, ha stems." It didn't work out. For
It's
tractor.
true. It's true. It's true. So stems came way too early, and they only worked with this specific hardware. And then there are two things. Okay, stems came, and then there wasn't enough content.
Yeah.
No old school releases from the 90s, which is what you want in stems format, were available, and that's kind of why it died. But it does work, and you can do fantastic things with it if you create them yourself. But again, this is the part where you have to put in work. And now you have stuff like VDJ, click, instant, vocal only. Dope, let's do that. So they were too early with that. But whereas Ableton Link was one of those things that got adopted all over the place, and now like Resolume, Tractor, Serato, Live itself, they all use that. So I prefer a company that tries and fails than one that doesn't do the attempt at all, because they tried to push it. And you can say that in some cases they tried to push it too far, like the S8, for example, but they did. And I will never stop respecting that.
Yeah, I get that. Mojax VDJ stems. So, look,
dude, it's fun, dude. Like in virtual DJ, we're all dumping on virtual DJ, but you guys, it is the ugliest DJ software without question. It has the most convoluted menu in the universe. Like, it's confusing for me. All right, and look at this. But when it runs, like the video performance in that, they implemented like motion tracking back in 2012. They had like Intel 3D cameras that you could control effects with, and now you have this in DJ on the iPad, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is amazing!" No, dude, welcome to the world of PC. We've had this stuff for years. It's just that nobody bothers to learn. But who can blame them? You just want to play music.
I get it. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Virtual DJ is great for controllers, bad for turntablists.
Yeah. It will support almost every time code, but none of them really, really, really well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't have its own.
DJ Dam asked, and by the way, what's going on, Dam? And I actually over the weekend, I watched DJ Dam stream. Great stream, great visuals, like super super tight visuals.
Let me give you a follow, DJ Dam, or just add you as a friend. I'll follow you later because I'm not in the.
Yeah. Could they use a Stream Deck to trigger Resolume, or do I need to get a MIDI controller?
You can use Stream Deck to trigger stuff in Resolume because Stream Deck will do key commands. I'm not sure if there is a MIDI extension for Stream Deck, but you can do keyboard mappings in Resolume, so that's going to work. But I would assume that the Resolume window would need to be in focus for that. So you know what? Ping me later. I've dropped you a friend request. I'll just test it. Test it and let you know. There you go. Easy game.
Digital Wisdom says I'm a video DJ, so I have virtual from it called Atomics. Okay, let's see a couple more, and then we got to get out of here. Let's see. I know there was a couple of asks in between. Mojax laughing at us the entire time. So let's see here.
Mojax is king. Laugh at us all you want, sir.
Let's see. All right, we'll do a couple more questions. Throw the ask in the chat. And then that's it. We're going to give ourselves until 12 o'clock on the dot. 12 o'clock on the dot. So if you have any more questions, we're happy to ask. DJ
6
Bankai
minutes.
Bully.
There you go.
Mojax is not a bully.
DJ Bankai, did you really name yourself after a freaking Zanpakuto release from Bleach? Is there a DJ Shikai? I have outed myself. Maybe. Good man. No, anime nerds have to stick together. I am otaku through and through, so.
Let's see here.
Ask what's his name. I just got on. My name is Ray, also unknown as RK. I push buttons and then things happen. You can, I'm just going to do that thing again. Where is it? Paste. There, this guy, Unreal DJing, in chat, that's me. Feel free to follow me, add me as a friend to ask me stuff later, because again, we don't want to keep Terry forever. This has been fun, but I don't want to, I understand the need to feed. We don't want anybody getting hangry.
So shout out Unreal DJing mods, if you don't mind. Thank you very much when you get a chance. Yeah, or else if he keeps me on any longer, he's going to end up sending out new computers just because I'm going to be promising. Oh, by the way, Mojax, were you on when he mentioned the new PC he's got coming out? Were you on the stream? The new XMDJ Pro 15?
XMG Pro 15. I think it's going to be called XMG Pro 15 Audio.
Okay.
Mojax, we're going to talk. I don't want to, repeat myself.
It's a beast.
It is
definitely a beast.
It is the death bringer. I mean that in the nicest of ways, of course.
Maybe.
Is there a way to win this machine? Honestly, I have to talk to marketing about that. Maybe.
If there is a way, it's going through me this time. Not.
Oh
through...
yes, yes. If there is a way, we're going to figure something out. But this is, again, I am the button monkey. I test stuff, I evaluate and approve stuff, and I sometimes appear in a video and talk to you guys about how awesome this is. But I am not the guy making any marketing decisions. I will take that info and just talk to them about it, but I can't promise you anything because that will just, we'll see. We'll see what can be done.
Yep. Fair enough. All right. I think we hit it all. I think we nailed it all. So if you guys have any more questions, DJ Easy ES, do you think Rekordbox will take over Serato? No. But yes. But no.
Oh, dude, we can nerd out for hours.
See, we really could.
Should I just, you know what? In theory, I could just go live on my channel, then you raid me, and then you guys keep asking me questions until we're done.
Do it.
Yeah?
Do it.
Want to do that?
Want to do that? Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna sign. Guys,
okay,
give a shout out to Ray, aka.
I'm actually. No, this is gonna take a minute because this is actually my streaming laptop. It's not really on. But if you want, just give me maybe like half an hour. Is that cool?
Oh, half hour? I can't stay
I need to
half hour. You're gonna kill me.
No, not you.
Oh,
like, maybe just follow me and I'll just go live.
Yes.
And whoever really cares, I'll see you guys in half an hour on my channel. We're gonna play some beats, try to make stuff crash, and then you can ask me whatever you want.
Perfect. Cool? So follow Unreal DJing, and again, we'll put the shout out one more time. Yeah, let
follow us all.
That's true. Everybody's doing their thing. So so make sure you guys are following. And yes, you can. No. I have been doing a really good job of eating at a certain point in time, and when my family's been gone because of dance, and they got back and like woke up and all the food was gone. Like my son just eats everything. So now there's no food. I was like, okay, I'll figure it out, but not today. So we'll sign you off, and I'll say my goodbyes to everybody. So make sure you guys are following Unreal DJing. That way you can see him. He'll be on in about 30 minutes. We're really excited for it. I'll be on myself checking it out with something in my mouth. So Ray, thank you so much for hanging out today, man. I appreciate you. And,
thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you soon. All right, man.
Cheers.
Peace out. All right. So that was Ray. Make sure you guys are following Unreal DJing. Obviously, it should be a super, super dope visual, which will be in about 30 minutes. I see DJ Mike Marquez in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you. So we are going to definitely start up a raid because I've had enough of my own. I'm tired. I'm tired. Hold on, let me pop this in. Make sure I'm not too loud here. So let's take a look real quick at who we should raid. At least for the next half hour. Who should we raid? I see Darth Vader on. Have we raided? We've never raided Darth Vader. Let's raid Darth Vader. I don't think we've ever raided Darth Vader. Yeah, let's do that. Let's raid Darth Vader. Because we've raided everybody else. You said Bizon is on? Bizon? Let's do Darth, just because I know we haven't. So let's set that raid up right now. I got it on this side, guys. Something went wrong. I swear to God. All right, set up the raid on Darth Vader for me, please. Since it's giving me errors on mine. A couple of housekeeping tips for all of you guys. So, busy week for me. I have, let's see here. What do I got? Do we have an incoming raid? Who's raiding in? Oh, Party Rock. Hey, thanks for hanging out today, man. We're going to be raiding our man DJ Darth Vader right now, so stick around for the raid. Don't raid out just yet. A couple of housekeeping tips. Tomorrow I will be DJing on Scam Artist tomorrow night. I think it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be on Scam Artist DJing. Wednesday, I will be on Tweak Music Tips alone. Just Kova and me. This is going to be different. So we will be on there. Then I have to go out of town. So I may or may not have I'm not going to have my Wednesday night show. That's not going to exist. But Thursday, maybe we'll still do Tech Thursday. All right, we're going to raid out to DJ Darth Vader. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Appreciate you all. Stick around for the raid. Let's go.